The 103 target can seem a little bit tricky at first, but if you have the right driving techniques and the right build, it is possible to complete for instant base repair with a pretty low time to complete the target. Hey everyone, Derpy here, and welcome back to another Battle Pirates video. As I get started, I want to highly recommend you watch my 102 video, which talks about a few things, especially the build change at the end in terms of this target and target series and the build and stuff like that. I will go ahead and focus mostly on the driving techniques for the 103 in the first half of this video, and then do a quick summary of the build change that I did at the end, which is really good and makes the target twice as fun, 3 times as fun to complete, because the time to kill it drops dramatically. I'm basically going to be able to one-shot every single one of these ships here and turrets and stuff like that, which is much more fun. I'm using a Sea Serpent's crew, and I do have 4 ships at X1. 1 ship is still U2, I'll get that up with tokens. If you have a U2 fleet, U3 fleet, whatever, the build techniques are largely the same, apart from maybe you have to spend 2 shots to kill something, maybe you have to actually hit both of these turrets instead of just one, because I'll show you how you can actually only take damage from one of these 2 turrets, which is pretty nice. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. First thing you want to do is stack up your fleet and then charge at these riots. I do like having a lot of open water out here. It makes it a nice difference from this target. Ideally, you would only engage 1 or 2 of these things at once, not necessarily all 3, so I'm trying to eliminate the damage taken by these and actually use DOT to kill 1 or 2 of these ships. As you can see, I've taken a little bit of damage on here. If you engage them 1 at a time, you might take slightly less damage. The next thing to do is going to be to hit this Ironhide. I'm going to start out to going to one side of it and then sort of fake away to the other side right here, stay at maximum range. What this is going to do is going to allow me to avoid these torpedoes, I say as I get almost hit by them. And once those torpedoes are avoided, you can get close to these scatter guns. What I want to do with the scatter is I'm going to start moving as soon as the slow field is just about to disappear and barely clip the edge of one of them right here, go close, barely clip the edge of one, fire at it, and the DOT will finish it off. And the other nice thing here is that this gate should still be alive. All you have to do, and thanks to TSM for this tip, is click on the gate, shoot at him, and between your splash and your DOT, the second corrosive turret goes down without firing a single shot. You can kind of do this in reverse order as well, so let's hit the 1 scattergun on the outside, wait for the slow field to go away, start moving, hit 1 scattergun on the outside, barely touch him, and duck away here. This just means you have to be a little bit more wary about the Ironhide and the built-in torpedoes and stuff he's going to spit out. Now sometimes this gate actually does go down, which is not ideal. Looks like it did not at this point, so I'll go back off to the side, click on the gate once here, and because I'm at the right angle, I'm going to be able to take down this turret right here. The DOT should take it down with no help left on that. Next up is the Ravagers. These ones can be kind of tricky. They die in just barely over 1 volley, so what you want to do is hit it, and then as soon as you fire, run the opposite direction, so he only shoots at you 1 time instead of 2. So right here I'm going to hit him once, and then the DOT is going to finish him off. Same thing for the other one. He got pulled through the DOT first, so I'll fire at him once, and he is down. And then let's go ahead and get kind of close, still stay at max range to give your countermeasures time to work from the Ironhide, and that one goes down pretty easily. You basically want each of these things to shoot at you as few times as possible to take as little damage as possible. Against the riots right here, I'm going to try and splash them all out very quickly, which does help. If I engage them 1 at a time, I might take slightly less damage, but I'm also concerned about the time to complete the target, because it is a very big target, as you might have noticed. Okay, at this point, I'm killing a few ram turrets and stuff like that. There is a big firing arc right here on the right side. I'm not going to go to the right. Instead, I'm going to go to the left and going to do that same technique where I hit the first turret, grab this one guy, barely clip him, and then speed away off to the right side here. He fired a second time there, which is not ideal, but at this point, I'm going to be able to use the gate to splash off essentially onto the second turret right here, and he goes down thanks to the DOT. Again, against the Ravagers right here, this one's a little bit trickier. He might fire at me twice. It's not the end of the world. A little bit of lag as I'm shooting there. And then with the second Ravager, I'm going to pull him through the DOT. I'm going to fire on the Ironhide, so he dies maybe without even firing at me once. Against the corrosive turrets, just click on those guys. You do so much splash, it doesn't really matter, but it's going to go down before firing a second shot with, again, the updated build that I'm using here. Go ahead and get the turret cluster on the right. Don't forget that one, or you have to spend a lot of time to come back to it when you're all the way on the left side of the target. Again, corrosive turret only shoots at you once if you kill it quickly enough, and you should be at maximum range. Against the UAVs right here, I try and stay at max range because I want my Gales and ideally the multiforms to have a little bit more of a chance to shoot at them. Next turret cluster, I'm going to click on the middle turret so I hit that one more quickly if I can, and the corrosive one only fires once because I kill everything on the platform so quickly. Here's the Ravagers, going to hit one once and then duck out to the side here. Looks like I didn't quite fire at him, a little bit of extra damage there, unfortunate. And then see if the second one can do a little bit of damage with the DOT and then mostly splash damage, so that one only fires at once. Next Ironhide is kind of difficult. You're going to get a lot closer to it than you should at this point. I'm too close right now, but I'm in a good firing zone where I'm going to get away from it and actually take it all the way down without actually getting a second shot from him off. So again, try and stay at max range of those guys, but if you can kill it pretty quickly, it doesn't really matter. Okay, here's the corrosive turret. Hit the center turret on the platform. He goes down pretty quickly, and that is the target completely down in just about 5 minutes. Let's go ahead and take a look at the damage, the battle report, and the build, because a few things here can be pretty interesting, and again, the build has slightly been updated since the previous raid. Taking a look at the battle report, I have very little penetrative damage actually taken or resisted, so 12% is the sum of resisted and taken, and then corrosive is 53, so maybe a steelhead screw is better off than a sea serpent for this one, which is the one I happen to have equipped, although the evade is nice, and the turn speed does of course give you a nice driving bonus, and this is a 9 minute and 34 second repair, which is fantastic. You could likely get this down to instant base if you have a full X1 fleet and spend a little bit more time driving and use a steelhead screw. Okay, here is the build update, which is going to be the same one I'm using in the 102, so if you've seen that video already, this should be a good quick refresher. I have a damage setup, and I had a damage setup before, but I've actually dropped Hyper 30, and I'm now using Odyssey Decoy System. That's the anti-special there. It's not actually used because of it's an anti-special, it's used because of things like multi-shot and corrosive damage. So I have one ship with that, I have a second ship with that, and I have a third ship with that. One of these ships, yeah, third one right here. One of these ships is still U2, which I'll get that up eventually here. The upgrade bonuses are kind of nice, but don't really matter that much at this point because I have 4 ships at X1. Again, the path and the techniques are very similar, U2, X1, U3, U1, whatever. Here is the anti-ship. This is the one with the most changes. I replaced countermeasure equipment 1 or countermeasure equipment 2, depending which one you were using, for the chaff splitter system because it has a plus 50% anti-missile accuracy, and switched out the 2 MDS-3s and I guess took off 2 scatters to have 4 multi-form anti-missiles. These things are much nicer, as you can see here, shoot down all the UAVs and most of the incoming missiles with very little threat. And then the last ship had a very small change here. I just removed Hyper 30. Actually, I removed acid diffusion shells from this previous one as well here. Removed Hyper 30, put on full focus choke, corrosive battery, the damage combo on this one, with countermeasure loaders 4 being used on here, just for those 2 gales if they ever wanted to fire. This is instead of Odyssey Decoy System on the other ships, but the gales are kind of a backup and don't necessarily matter that much. I don't even know if they were firing at all on this particular target, or if the multiforms were doing all the work. That is the quick build update for this one. If you have more questions on that, go ahead and drop them in the comments below, and I'll do my best to get back to you. With that said, I want to give a huge thank you to everyone whose name appears on the end screen now. They're helping make videos like this one possible. And until next time, this is going to be Derpy signing out, helping you be a better pirate.